Hello friends, welcome, good morning. In today's video, we'll be discussing about the very basic concept of democracy. And we all must remember that this is a very important concept that we have to understand because we have got so many things to study, you can say later on. Therefore, this particular term is very important for all of us, clear? So I would like each one of you to understand this concept properly so that you can answer any question which comes from this topic, that is democracy. Clear? So let's proceed. On this slide, there's a brief description about myself. You can take a look through. Clear? Moving ahead. Clear? Now let us understand the meaning of democracy first. Clear? See, first of all, let us all understand that the word democracy has derived from two Greek words. Okay, the word democracy has derived from the two Greek words, and these two words are, the first one is demos and the second is kratia. Clear? See, demos means what? Demos means people. Clear? Demos in Greek means people and kratia means rule. Clear? So what we can understand over here, that democracy means rule of the people. Clear? We can say rule of the people, by the people and for the people. That is what Abraham Lincoln had said. We all must have, read that somewhere, isn't it? So remember that democracy has derived from the two Greek words, that is demos and kratia. Demos means what? Demos means people and kratia means rule. So therefore it means rule of the people. Clear? Therefore, democracy is power of the people, isn't it? Democracy means what? Democracy means what the people want, what the people say. Clear? So it is basically the power of the people. Okay? And all of us must have read this somewhere or the other. Clear? That Abraham Lincoln, the famous person, isn't it? You all must have heard about him. He was the 16th American president. Clear? 16th US president. Clear? Very famous president. Clear? So Abraham Lincoln had defined democracy as what? As government of the people, by the people and for the people. Isn't it? It means what? It is government of the people. It means that people are forming the government. Government of the people. Isn't it? Then it is government by the people. It means that the government is being formed by the people. Clear? And the government which has been formed, it has been formed for whom? For the people. Clear? So this particular, definition of democracy that was given by Abraham Lincoln, it's very famous, and moreover it covers all the aspects of it, isn't it? So always remember that democracy means what? It is the government of the people, by the people and for the people. Clear? So moving ahead, now we'll study about the features of democracy. Clear? Quite interesting ones. The first is rule of representatives elected by people, isn't it? See, what we have studied right now, that democracy is ruled by the people. Clear? So first point says over here, rule of representatives elected by people. Like for example, let's take a small example over here. Let's say that we have got two contestants, contestant A and contestant B. Clear? They are fighting for some particular election. Clear? And then we have got the voters, the electors. Let's say there are 100 electors. Clear? Now these 100 electors are going to elect either A or either B according to their preference or choices. Clear? Let's say after the elections, if 70% have voted for A, clear, and the rest 30 have voted for B, so automatically we can see over here, natural result is what? Is that A has won the election. Clear? So it is rule of representatives, isn't it? It means that A has become the representative of these 100 electors. Clear? So it is the rule of the representatives elected by the people. Clear? The second is free and fair elections. Always remember that it is a very important feature of democracy that unless and until there are free and fair elections, democracy cannot thrive. Clear? So all the governments, all the democratic governments, they'll have to ensure that whenever there are elections in the country, it has to be free, it has to be fair. If the elections are not free and fair, it means that democracy doesn't exist there. Clear? So for democracy to exist, what we have to ensure? Free plus fair elections is a very, very important feature of democracy. The third one is universal adult franchise. Now again, this is the next very important feature of democracy. See, when we talk about universal adult franchise, what it means is that everyone in the country, clear, all the people in the country above a certain age limit, clear, they all will be allowed to vote in the elections without any kind of you can say restrictions or bifurcations. Clear? Like for example, if I talk about India, clear, in India, all the people who are, all the citizens, I would rather say, all the citizens who are 18 plus, 18 and above, clear, they are allowed to vote in the elections, isn't it? So all the people who are 18 and above are allowed to vote in the elections, whether they are educated or not educated, whether they have got lots of money with them or they are poor, isn't it? So whether the voter is a man or a woman, so these are not going to make any kind of a difference. The only qualification is that if you are 18 and above, you will be allowed to vote. Clear? So universal adult franchisee is again a very important feature of a democracy. Clear? I would like to tell you one more term over here. There's a term which is called as limited franchisee. Clear? Just understand this particular term. Now, what does the term limited franchisee mean? Limited franchisee means that when all the people are not allowed to vote. Clear? Like for example, if I say all the people of India who are 18 plus, let's put it in this way, limited adult franchisee. It would be more appropriate. Okay, limited adult franchisee. Now, if I say all the people of India who are 18 and above, clear, can vote provided that they have got wealth above certain limits, they have got a master's degree in education, clear, and only the men are allowed to vote. Now this becomes what? This becomes a limited adult franchisee, isn't it? Because we're not allowing all the adults to go and vote. Clear? So this is the meaning of limited adult franchisee. On the other hand, when everyone above a certain age limit is allowed to vote, it is known as universal adult franchisee. Okay. The next feature of democracy is fundamental rights. Now always remember that fundamental rights are, you can say, one of the most important rights in a democracy. Clear? So if in a democracy, if an individual is not having fundamental rights, then that country or that state cannot be called as a democratic state. Just imagine yourself, for example, just imagine yourself for a moment that all your freedom of speech and expression is taken away. You cannot say what you want to say. You cannot sing what you want to sing. You cannot move around. You want to go to a particular place, you cannot go. Now, if these things are restricted, isn't it? Then these things are not the features of a democratic nation, of a democratic country. Clear? So fundamental rights are very important, are a very important part of the, you can say, of a democratic nation, of a democratic state. Clear? And asking like, what is fundamental rights? Just in one line, I would like to tell you, fundamental rights are all those rights which are very important for an individual for his overall development. Clear? So always remember that it is a very important part of a person's life. Clear? Moving on to the next feature, protection of freedom. It is somewhat linked to rights and freedoms. So if you have got freedom, if your freedom is protected, it means that you are living in a democratic country. Clear? On the other hand, if your freedom is taken away from you, you are deprived of your freedoms. It means what? It means that you are no more living in a democratic country. Isn't it? If you want to know what's the meaning of, like we all in India, we know the meaning of democracy, we feel it, isn't it? But go and ask the people of North Korea how they feel. Clear? They don't have the rights and the freedom that we enjoy. Clear? So these are the important features of democracy. Now coming to the next part, we're going to study about the different forms of democracy. Again, it's going to be a very important topic. The different forms of democracy. The first is direct democracy. Clear? Now talking about the direct democracy, please understand that this is again a very, very important point, important you can say subtopic over here. Talking about direct democracy, what it says that, excuse me, when all the people elect their representatives directly. Clear? As you can see over here, it is that where people directly elect their representatives. It is called as direct democracy. Like for example, if I would say, let's say there are 4 candidates A, B, C and D. Clear? Now let's say there are 1000 voters over here. 1000 are the people who are going to vote for these people. Clear? Now let's say these 1000 people have voted, and let's say candidate C has emerged as the winner because candidate C has got the maximum votes. Clear? Now in this election, what we can see over here, that all these voters, they are voting directly for these candidates. Clear? So wherever the candidate or wherever the voters are electing the representatives in a direct manner, clear? That is known as, people electing directly their representatives. It is called as the direct democracy. Clear? Now in Switzerland, direct democracy is, you can say, followed. However, it should be kept in mind that it is not followed at all the levels, only for the municipality level. Okay, at the lower levels it is followed. Clear? Now coming to the next form of democracy, that is the indirect democracy. Now talking about the indirect democracy, taking the same example over here. Now what happens is that these 1000 people will not vote directly for these 4 representatives. Clear? Now what happens in this form of democracy? First of all, the electors are going to directly elect few representatives. Clear? Let's say, for example, let's take this example. Let's say 1000 voters, they have elected 4 representatives. Clear? Let's take an example. Let 1000 voters, they have elected 4 representatives, and these 4 representatives are going to elect further. They are going to elect the representatives in the next step as well. Clear? Now please see this definition over here. It is where people don't elect their representatives directly, but through elected representatives. So going by this example, now these 4 people have been elected by these 1000 voters. Clear? However, the ultimate representative, I am representing over here by a capital R, the ultimate representative is not elected by these people directly. Rather, the ultimate representative is elected by these 4 elected representatives. I hope you're getting it. Now these 4 people, these 4 elected representatives, only they will be voting for this candidate. Clear? So what we can see over here, that these 1000 voters are not electing R directly. Okay, so once again, it is where people don't elect their representatives directly, but through elected representatives. Clear? Next point, countries like India, our own country, America, England, France, follow indirect democracy. Okay, and further, the democracy can also be classified as presidential democracy or parliamentary democracy. Clear? So we'll be looking at these 2 forms of democracy in the next slide. Now moving ahead, looking at what is presidential democracy, please take a look over here. In this type of democracy, people directly elect the president, who becomes head of government as well as head of state. Clear? So one person, let's say person P, Now person P is having you can say powers in two capacities. Clear? He or she is having powers as head of the state as well as head of the government. Clear? So one person is enjoying two powers as head of the government and head of the state. Clear? Now in this type of democracy, a president appoints the governmental officers. Now if I give you the example of America, in America what happens? The person who is elected as the president of America, clear? That person is going to appoint the various departmental secretaries. Clear? In India we call them as ministers. In America we call them as secretaries. Clear? So the president will appoint those secretaries. Clear? And they will only be responsible to him. Clear? So this is a very, very important point, that the president appoints the governmental officers, or we can say over here the different various departmental secretaries. Clear? In India we call them as ministers. Clear? Now example, it is mainly you can say followed in America and France. Now this is the picture of the White House in America. Now talking about the parliamentary democracy. Clear? Now in this system what happens? People elect the members of parliament, that is the supreme legislative body. Clear? So what is happening in the parliamentary system? In the parliamentary democracy, the people are electing the members of parliament. Clear? And we all know parliament. What is parliament? Parliament is the supreme legislative body. Legislative body means that body which is responsible for making the laws of the country. Clear? Making the laws. Moving ahead, the next point, the political party that have majority of elected members establish the government. Clear? Like for example, see, after elections, let's say in the parliament, clear, precisely in the Lok Sabha, talking about Lok Sabha, let's say there are 4 parties, A, B, C and D. Okay, and let's say for example, this is just an example. Okay, to form the so total strength of Lok Sabha is 100, just for example purpose. Okay, and these 4 parties have been elected to the Lok Sabha, and let's say the number of persons from each party, let's say from party A 10 members have been elected, from party B 60, from party C 5, clear, and then party D 25. Clear? So we can add them up, it comes to 100, isn't it? Clear? Now see, this is the result of the elections. Now what happens? What does this point say? The political party that have majority of elected members establish the government. Now if you see this data, clear, which party has got the maximum number of elected representatives? It is party B, which is having 60. But always remember that the party which forms the government, they will have to have the majority in the house. Clear? And talking about majority over here, majority means more than 50% of the total strength of the house. Clear? So total strength of the house is how much? Over here 100. Clear? Now to form the government, how much do you need? You need at least 50% plus. So in this case, at least you will be needing 51 seats. So going by this rule, party B has got more than that. They have got 60. So therefore they can form the government. Had it been the case that, you know, where no political party had got majority, clear, even if a political party had got 49 seats, maybe that was the maximum number of seats they have got, clear, between all the parties, among all the parties. However, they could not form the government. Why? Because they have not secured more than 50%. So always remember, when we talk about formation of the government, clear, we don't say maximum members. What we say? We say majority members. Clear? So therefore, the political party that has got the majority of elected members in the house, they will form the government. Clear? Next point is, often head of the party is elected as the prime minister. Clear? Now let's say over here there are 60 members over here, isn't it? Now one member from them will be appointed as the prime minister, and normally who is this person? He is the head of the party, or we can say he is one of the most important figures in that particular party. Clear? Like for example, Narendra Modi became the prime minister, isn't it? He was not the you can say party chief. However, he was one of the most prominent figures in the BJP. Clear? Next point, prime minister establishes the government, or we can say prime minister forms the government and facilitates working of the government. Clear? So the prime minister along with the other ministers, they are going to form the government. Clear? Next point, the parliamentary democracy is observed in India and England. Like for example purpose, you can always cite India and England for the parliamentary form of democracy. Clear? Now we have got one very important question over here. Clear? This is a lengthy question over here, and many other questions, you know, can be formed from this particular topic. Clear? So I would request all the students to understand this question and you know, try to understand the format of the answer and the content as well, because it's going to help you in various other questions as well. Clear? So I'm marking this as important because this is really very helpful. It's going to be very helpful for your examination. Clear? Now the question over here is, how are democratic governments better than the other forms of governments? Clear? So I have mentioned 5 points over here. So please try to you know, understand these 5 points and also try to learn them, because it's going to be quite you know, helpful for you and it's important as well. So going by this, number 1, democracy enhances dignity of individuals. Now how does democracy enhance the dignity of individuals? You can see in this explanation over here, democracy permits political equality for all its citizens, isn't it? Everyone is equal, isn't it? Everyone has got equality in talking about in terms of you can say political rights. Everyone is equal. Nobody has got power where, you know, if he or she will cast a vote, that vote will be counted as 2 votes or 3 votes or, you know, n number of votes. That's not the case, isn't it? Every person will be you know, giving the vote, it will be counted as a single vote. Clear? So democracy permits political equality for all its citizens, isn't it? In democracy, there is absence of any domination and conflicts. Thus, it implies every citizen enjoys dignity and freedom in democracy. Clear? So it is for us to realize that, you know, how important it is like for us that since we are in a democratic country, clear, we enjoy the political rights. There is political equality among the citizens, isn't it? And there is absence of domination and conflict because of this democracy, isn't it? Clear? And thus it implies that every citizen enjoys dignity and freedom in the democracy. Clear? Now coming to the second point, democracy improves the quality of decision making. Clear? Now how does democracy improve the quality of decision making? Let's read the explanation. As democracy is based on deliberation and negotiations. Clear? What do you mean by deliberation? Deliberation means what? Deliberation means, you know, when people try to, you know, they debate on over certain topic, they discuss things out. Clear? They think, they analyze, they question. So these things are, you know, known as deliberation. Clear? So as democracy is based on deliberation and negotiations, it improves the quality of decision making. Why? Because over here the people are discussing the things out, debating over the topics, questioning the things. That is why it improves the quality of the decision making. In a democracy, every citizen takes part in the decision making process, and this is a very important point, that in democracy every one of us is taking part in the decision making process. However, that may not be directly in most cases, isn't it? Clear? It may be through the elected representatives. Clear? Point number 3, Democracy promotes equality among citizens. Again, a very important point. In democracy, each citizen is given equal rights and freedoms. Now, when you look at the Constitution of India, there are provisions in it, clear, whereby all the citizens are equal before law. All of them are enjoying the equal rights and freedoms. No one is above the, above the rest of the persons. In other words, no one is above a law as well. Clear? There is no discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, color, sex, etc. Clear? The state does not discriminate on the basis of these things. Everyone is equal in the, you can say, in the society, in the country. Clear? Democracy aims at equitable distribution of incomes and resources among the citizens. Very, very important concept and point. Clear? Democracy aims at what? It aims at equitable distribution of the incomes as well as the resources of the country. This is what is known as democracy. Clear? Next point, point number 4. Democracy provides an accountable, responsive and legitimate government. Now this is a very, very important point. You have got questions, coming just, on this point, that, how is democracy providing an accountable, responsive and legitimate government? Explain. So you might get that as a short answer as well. Clear? So looking at the explanation, the most basic feature of democracy is that it produces a government which is accountable to the citizens, isn't it? Why? Because people have elected them. So therefore the government is accountable to the citizens. Next is, the government is responsive to the needs and expectations of the citizens, isn't it? If you don't be responsive, then what will happen? People will not vote for you again. You will not be a popular government, isn't it? That is why the government has to be responsive to what its people need. Clear? And last, that it is legitimate. Why so? Because the government has been elected through a free and fair election system, isn't it? The people of the country have voted for them. That is why it is a legitimate government. Clear? So this is a very, very important point. Next, point number 5. Democracy represents the general view. Clear? The majority always needs to work with the minority so that governments function to represent the general view. The minority view should not be suppressed. Clear? The majority has to work in, you can say, in sync with the minority so that their view is not suppressed. Clear? So this is the very, very important question, and I would request all students to learn this, understand it rather, I would say. Clear? Because we, learning just by mugging it up is not going to help you. If you understand and learn, it's going to help you for your entire life. Clear? So that's all for this video. I hope all the students who have watched it may have understood lots of it. Clear? And for those who are studying this topic for the first time, I would request you to watch this session once again. And if you have any kind of a query, you can always reach out to us, on this particular email ID, that is cbseminds@gmail.com. Clear? And moreover, if you have liked this video, please do subscribe to our channel. Clear? And also like the lecture. So thank you all very much. We'll be meeting you in the next video.